Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Reiki Zen, and welcome to the Zen Den, as I like to call it. Welcome to another video, and yeah, I'm currently working on my throat chakra. So that I've had a few days where I've done quite a lot of videos, quite a lot of talking, especially long videos for the new channel, for Zen Ascension with Claire Thackeray, and also with the coffee chat that I did with Tony. And ever since that day, and it's quite poignant really, after the videos that we did, well, that I did, that you've watched, to do with the chakras and the blocks, and having an overactive chakra is something that I've experienced due to lots of talking. So I'm just bringing some balance back to it with some sage and letting it go up around my throat, around my neck, breathing it in, not deeply, but I'm just breathing it in, just breathing normally, just letting the sage go to its work, do what it needs to do, up around my head, around my third eye, around my crown, working all these upper chakras. And you probably think, well, why do another video if you feel that your throat chakra is overactive and you're having issues? But well, it's something that needs to be said. It needs to be put out there for knowledge to prove and to show that these things do happen. And it's not just some sort of fanciful idea about this energy body that then affects the physical, because it really does. However, today's video is going to be about people that don't believe it, that don't understand or recognize this energy that we have, this thing that we do. They don't recognize energy healing of any kind. They don't recognize or think about meditation. They don't recognize multiple lives, past lives. They just think this life is it, and that is all we have. I'm trying not to get the smoke in there, in the screen. But yeah, I was kind of drawn to make this video because of a conversation I had with someone the other day at work in the matrix, in the mainstream realm. And I was talking about the stuff that I did outside of work, and they were like, well, what's that? So I had to try and explain what Reiki was and how it works, and they were just like, nah, don't believe any of that. And that's fine. I'm not here to make you believe anything. I just know that it works, and it works differently for everybody on every single level. And I'm not just talking about Reiki, I'm talking about every other form of holistic healing, alternative healing, whatever you want to call it. It's alternative because it's not in the mainstream, because the mainstream doesn't want you to know about it. They don't want you to know that if you walk in nature and walk on grass barefoot, walk on the beach barefoot, walk among the trees, touch trees, meditate next to trees, they don't want you to know that this information is vital for our health. They want to keep you unhealthy, because that feeds the system. However, going back to the initial subject, we won't go off track. We won't go off track with that. We won't go into that sort of stuff. Going back to the initial subject at hand, people that don't believe in what we do, on what I do. They don't believe in spirit. They don't believe in universal energy. And like I said before, it's not our job to make them believe. However, what I did say to the person in question was, well, it's actually good for you to be skeptical of it, because if you don't have a healthy level of skepticism and you believe absolutely everything, then you can be kind of drawn in, and there is much to be aware of. And yeah, but if we didn't have this healthy level of skepticism and then we didn't go into experience it or try it, and then find out for ourselves that, wow, this is like amazing, this is really powerful, this really needs to get out there, then they are the perfect people to push the message. Because it's all well and good as practitioners of whatever art, whatever field you work in, to speak your truth and to talk about it and make it clear that this stuff exists, this stuff works, and it all works for your highest good. It all works for the development of your energy, to remove negativity, to raise your vibration, to develop you mind, body and spirit. This stuff works. I mean, this sage is really working on me now because I can feel it and I'm having difficulty talking. But that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. It means it's doing its job. And, to explain it to someone, they'll just be like, well, how can it work? It's been used for thousands of years. It's been used by shamans, by ancient tribes, ancient cultures. And it gets used in the modern day by people that practice these healing practices to cleanse and clear spaces, to remove negativity, to raise your vibration. It all helps and it all works. So yeah, it was quite an interesting conversation that I'd had with them. And the guy said, well, surely you need to believe in all that stuff for it to work. And I was like, well, in some ways, yes. But in other ways, no. Like I was saying about being a skeptic, and skeptics don't have a level to aim for. People who believe strongly and have grand aspirations of experiencing this, that, or whatever, they're the first to be disappointed because they may not experience what they want to feel or see. Whereas someone that doesn't know what they're supposed to feel, what they're supposed to see, what's supposed to happen, then they're the perfect candidate for, like I say, for pushing these practices out. And the person that he was working with actually said, I want to give it a go. I want to try Reiki. I was like, well, right, okay, we'll sort something out, we'll arrange it. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good experience. But they had a level of they had like a level of belief, a level of expectation of what to get from him. So again, they may be disappointed, but they may not. And I think until you try something like this, you can't really explain how it works for each individual. Each story, each journey, each person is unique, and every person's healing requirements is unique to them. So you can't say from one client to the next. You may have one client that explodes in bouts of sadness and tears and releases loads of emotion, and they aren't a cryy person. They don't experience that normally. But during the session they did. Or maybe 2 or 3 days later they did. And they don't know why. Because all this stuff is working behind the scenes during and after your session for 2 or 3 days. Sometimes up to 5 days. Just releasing and working on your energy step by step. And you can't really prove it. It's down to that person's experience and their own inside voice to say there's something else at work here, there's something grander at work, because I can't explain what's just happened, why it happened. I don't normally experience that. I don't normally see this sort of thing. I'm not very good at visualization, but I saw this and I saw that. What does it mean? And it starts to just tweak things a little bit, and people start to question and want to know more. And then you've kind of like, you've got their interest, because then they're interested and they want to get a grander understanding of what's going on. And so yeah, so I mean every form of healing that I've tried, as well as Reiki, has given me an understanding of how it works, what it's done for me, how I felt during and after the sessions. And so I mean, even for me, when I first tried meditation, I was just like, I never saw myself as one of those people that would meditate, but my health and the way I was dictated that I needed to try something else, because medication wasn't working and the life I was living wasn't working. So then I tried it. Things started to change. I discovered Reiki. I tried it. And things started to change. And it only just popped in the other day into my mental awareness, really, that, you know, from early 20s through to, well, actually probably late teens through to late 20s, when I really started delving into this stuff and going down an awakening path, there's a lot to heal. There is a hell of a lot to heal, and a lot to get over, and a lot to expose and release and understand. And that can take years, that can take a long time. It's not an overnight fix, but it's about, once you've discovered it and understand relatively what kind of thing it's doing for you on some level, you might not be able to explain it, then you start working on it and trusting in it and knowing that it's doing something for your highest good. So for those people that don't believe it, that think it's just a placebo, then you really need to experience it and you really need to try it. And if you don't want to do that, then that's also fine. It's not our job as practitioners of whatever healing practice we're in to pull people in, to force them in and say, right, lie down there, I'm going to do this on you, because that's taking the whole situation out of the context that it needs to be, because then it becomes an ego thing. It becomes where you're just trying to prove something, and it's not about proving. It's about being the healer, it's about being the therapist, it's about guidance, development, and showing them that they are the true healer within as well. And when people start to discover this and discover alternative therapies, they are now on their calling, they're now on their path, they're on their journey into some sort of self-discovery, some sort of awakening, and they just want something better for them. And sometimes in life, and it's quite sad really, but sometimes in life things come to test us and we get pulled into the game, into the system. And then before you know it, you're 65, you've retired, you've worked your whole life, you've not done anything to feed your soul, you've not done anything that feeds you, and you start to regret it. And there's sometimes you think, oh, I wish I'd tried this, or I wish I'd tried that, or I wish I'd just tried to understand what that is. And it's not just about healing practices or spirituality or psychic development or anything like that. It's just anything in life, following your goal, your inner voice, something that you really, really enjoy doing that feeds your soul. And I had a discussion about this with somebody at work today, and he's retired and packed in work, and it took him all those years till retirement to discover this passion that was within him, which was photography and getting out into nature and taking amazing photographs of things. And he's local to here, and he knows my parents. And it's taken him all that time to discover what he needed for him. And anything that he used to do years ago, he doesn't really have any interest in, because he's found a calling that feeds his soul. So it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a healing practice. It can be like photography, art, gardening, painting, walking, exercise, gym, anything like that just feeds your soul and drives your passion into a new venture to move you out of just the mainstream world, the 9 to 5, eat, sleep, repeat. And once you start stepping out of that, you do start finding things come into play, and you wonder why. I still wonder why things come into my path, and I try to think about it and work it out, but that's like me trying to think about it and work it out. It's not down to me to think about it. It's there for a reason, and people come into your life for a reason. And usually because they're soul family, or there's some soul connection. But yeah, the guy that I was talking to, he was like, he says, I don't believe in any of that. This is it. This is your only life, and once you're gone, you're gone. There's nothing more. And I just laughed at him and I said, you are so far from the truth. But I said, this is the life where, or maybe your next life, where you need to discover that. You need to discover the truth of what's real, of what's really out there, what's really around us. And yeah, it's really powerful stuff. So then I tried going down the conversation of your energetic vibration, your energy body. I was talking about his partner, she'd like gone totally bald and didn't know why. They couldn't explain it. Even the medical practice couldn't explain it. They had no idea why. They were blaming it on like stress and emotions and things like that. And that was part of it. But when I had a conversation with her one day, and I sat down and I just looked at her, and I was just watching her energy around her body, like aurora, auric field, like we've talked about before on this channel not so long ago. And I was looking at her aura, and like all around here was fine. The body was fine, seemed to be okay. It was a little bit shaky here and there, but when it got to the head, it just started going out, and it was stretching up and up, and it went up like really, really high, the aura. And I was like, there's your problem. Too much. And it was like an emotional thing, a mental emotional thing. Too much of this, and the energy just needed to be realigned. But I didn't force that upon her. I didn't say, look, I do this, yada yada yada, why don't you try? You know, that's not my place to do. That's for her calling to look for that if she wants it. So yeah, it really is interesting, and it's still like, even now, like speaking to people about these subjects and about like when they say, oh, I don't believe in any of that. You know, we live one life, we die, that's it, end of, sayonara, no more. And even now, after speaking to so many people about a similar subject, it is still quite difficult to try and put things into words of what things are and how things are. But again, that's not for me to force upon people. It's not for me, because then if you start doing that, you're going down the path of religion. And spirituality isn't a religion. It's about being open to every aspect of life, and understanding that we're all on individual journeys. We're all unique. We all have different beliefs, faiths, and that is also all beautiful. So yeah, to those people that don't believe, you know, just, if you feel something within you, deep within you, that you think, you know what, I'm going to give it a go, I'm going to give it a try and just see what happens. If nothing happens, I've been proved right, there's nothing in it. If something happens, it may switch my thinking slightly. It may make me think that there is a little bit more to this life than what we're told or what we perceive, because there is so much going on around us beyond our physical vision that many of us have no idea of what's going on. The various entities and souls and people that are around us at every given moment of every single day. But most of the time we can't see them, we're not aware of them. But you can feel them. But a lot of people just think it's something else. They think, oh, that's a bit chilly, got a bit of a breeze there. Not sure what that is. I had that today actually when I came home, and I sat down and I said to my partner, I said, oh. And I looked over and I was like looking up and down, and he was like, what are you looking at? I was like, can you not feel that? I don't feel what? That breeze, really, is there a window open somewhere? Because a really strong, cool breeze. He was like, no. No, right. So I sat down, and then again, another gust went right across me. So there it is again. And anyway, I went through to the kitchen to make myself a cuppa, and I'd heard a voice, and I thought it was him. So I came back through and I said, "Did you just say hi?" He said, "No." I said, "Oh," I thought you were on the phone speaking to someone." He said, I was talking to myself. But I said, "But did you say hi?" He said, "No." I said, "All right." I said, "I just heard someone say hi." But that was it. After that, there was nothing more. But yeah, sometimes we just need. I mean, it even happens sometimes at the most random of moments like that. You know, I'm not tuning in. I'm not working on anything. It just happens. But majority of the time, I have to work really, really hard to tune in. And sometimes when you do that, you lose the magic of a healing session when you're when you're trying to tune in or relax everything so much that you ruin the healing session. And it's about just letting the energy and the Reiki or whatever practice is that you do what it needs to do for the person. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that today, share that little video with you. Well, 25 minutes nearly of a video, because I just thought it was quite an interesting conversation, and I felt a bit triggered, and I guess that was my ego, you know, because I think, well, because of my understanding of things now. But like I say, not everyone's like that. Not everyone understands it, feels it, sees it, or has any spiritual connection with it. But that's also fine, and that's what we need to tell ourselves. So yeah, just a few thoughts really. I hope you enjoyed. Much love to you all. Take care of yourselves. Namaste. Bye for now.